Shalom, shalom, Judah. Saint Christ bless. Saint Christ bless, bro. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Saint Christ bless. Wait for me. All right, all right. Like we filling up. Most High Christ bless y'all. Shalom, shalom. Hope y'all having a good week. If you ain't having a great week, that's all right. We know how it is, man. It's the condition of the battle. That's what the scriptures say, right? Condition of the battle. We know we're gonna have some drama and some trials, some tribulations. Y'all know how it go. You know what I'm saying? We got to keep the fight. We got to keep the fight. Right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm gonna wait to give like a few more seconds. Then we'll get started. Got Judah, Darren, Johanan, Jecamiah, Adeka, Zacchaeus. All praise. Most High Christ bless. Yes, share. Yes, sir. You right on that. All right. All right, so we ain't gonna wait too much longer. Let's get started. All right, let's get started, y'all. All right, so where we at? We at Daniel chapter 6. 2 weeks ago was 4 and 5, right? So we're gonna pick up from Daniel 6, and of course, hold on. Let me start by saying I'm Captain Zakai, IUIC Sacramento, formerly of headquarters New York, right? So I'm out here in Cali, all right. And we're here with giving the sense A to Z. All right. And that's what we're doing. Right. So we're going to go in chapters and then give the sense along the way. Right. We're going to start jumping into different books and piecing this thing together, y'all. All right. So we can gain a better understanding of what we're reading. A lot of times when we first come in, some of y'all might have been in for a little while. Some of y'all are new. Right. And when we first start reading, we're not clear. I mean, we're understanding precepts, of course. Right. We're getting them. The teachers are breaking them down so you understand the precepts, but you might not understand the time frame, right? And relating to certain situations, so on and so forth, right? So that's what we're going to do today, right? As always, in giving a sense, right? So let's start. All right, the book of Daniel, chapter 6, we're going to read verses 1 and 2, right? It says, it pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom, right? So now Darius, remember, from 4 and 5, Darius has now defeated Babylon, right? And now Persia has expanded. So now he has 120 provinces, right? That's what it's going, 120 princes. I'm sorry. And over these 3 presidents, of whom Daniel was first, right? So now Daniel, he had 3 presidents, y'all, right? So out of these 120 princes, he had another 3 that were the top. And those 120 princes would what? They were subject to these 3 presidents, right? And give them all information, sort of like how you at work, you got a manager, supervisor, so on and so forth, right? That the princes might give accounts unto them, and the king should have no damage. When they say the king should have no damage, meaning what? That the king should know exactly what's going on all over his provinces, right? Or all over his counties, or whatever you want to call it, right? And that what? He'll know exactly what's happening. And if anything is going on, they write on it and he'll receive no damage, right? But from here now, we read verses 1 and 2. Let's go to First Esdras chapter 3. All right, First Esdras chapter 3. And we're going to read verses. We're going to read down a bit, but I'm going to touch on a few things as we read down, right? So First Esdras chapter 3, verse 1. It says, now when Darius reigned, he made a great feast unto all his subjects. All right, so same Darius. And unto all his household, and unto all the princes of Media and Persia, right? Because remember, it was the Medes, then Persia, right? It became Media, Persia, all right? And to all the governors and captains and lieutenants that were under him from India unto Ethiopia of 127 provinces, right? So now those 120 princes over there are now being called what? Governor, captains, lieutenants, right? Because those princes just meaning what? Those nobles, right? And he had the governors, the captains, lieutenants, because out of those 120, all of them wasn't the same rank, obviously, right? Some were more higher than others. Some was holding down a smaller space, you know. But check this out, y'all. They had 127 provinces. So you almost had as many men watching over each province, right? Maybe one guy had 2 provinces or whatever. But the point is, they had enough men to watch over all of these provinces, right? And governing the day-to-day activities, right? So now we're going to read on, right? Verse 3. And when they had eaten and drunken and being satisfied were going home, then Darius the king went into his bedchamber and slept, and soon after awaked. Then 3 young men that were of the guard that kept the king's body spake one to another. So they're giving it away right there, who these guys are, right? We never looked at it like this, right? But look, of the guard, these 3 young men that were of the guard that kept the king's body, they were bodyguards, right? Secret service, pretty much, right? For the king, these 3, not the 3 presidents, but these is 3 other, let's just call it secret service or bodyguards, right? For lack of words. Well, we're gonna call it, that's what it calls here, bodyguards, right? Verse 5. Let every one of us speak a sentence. He that shall overcome and whose sentence shall seem wiser than the others, unto him shall the king Darius give great gifts and great things in token of victory, right? So they wanted to battle the who coming up with the wisest sayings and so on, right? As to be clothed in purple, to drink in gold, and to sleep upon gold, and a chariot with bridles of gold, and a head tire of fine linen, and a chain about his neck, right? So now they want to battle for all these things, everything with gold, chain on their neck, if they win this contest between each other. And he shall sit next to Darius because of his wisdom, and shall be called Darius his cousin, right? So now if they win, they're gonna be Darius' play cousin. You know what I mean? They're gonna sit next to him. Darius going, go to them. This is what they plan, and they want to bring this to the king to see if the king want to get down with they will sponsor this. In other words, right? And then everyone wrote his sentence, sealed it, and laid it under King Darius's pillow, and said that when the king is risen, some will give him the writings, and of whose side the king and the 3 princes of Persia shall judge. So now, here, remember, up top in verse 2, the governors, captains, lieutenants, so on and so forth, those were the princes that we read about in Daniel 1. These, the 3 princes of Persia shall judge. This is talking about the 3 presidents, right? So when you see the term princes, right, it's just meaning the nobles, right? Who he has set up over those particular provinces, right? So let's not get messed up. So when it says, I know y'all think about the Prince of Persia, that old movie from Disney and all that. Forget about that, all right? There was princes of Persia, yes, but not like how they got in the damn movie, all right? That his sentence is the wisest, to him shall the victory be given as was appointed, right? So now, one important point I want to bring out, right, as we read in this, if y'all check this out, and some of y'all watching, y'all got great jobs. Some of y'all got excellent jobs, y'all are, and because of that, y'all are a little bit fearful to come amongst us, like come to the congregation, so on and so forth. That's fine, right? That's fine. Y'all do what y'all got to do, and if y'all can, assist in any way, donate money or something, we'll accept that, right? Because not everybody can be visible, right? And that's the point of me just bringing this out. Now, and I want to bring something else out. That's 1. 2, remember, they're in captivity. This is captivity. And what? You got Daniel, who's ahead, right? He's the top man underneath the king, pretty much, right? He's the top man. You got Daniel, he's a Jew, and he's in captivity. So in today's times, when you think that you're not in captivity because you have a good job or you're living well, you got a nice house, you got to think again, this man is in captivity, right? Let me show y'all something real quick, right? Not only that, but who's being discussed here is Zerubbabel. We're going to read about Zerubbabel coming up. He just didn't say his name yet, right? But we're going to read about that, right? So Zerubbabel is that guy, one of those top bodyguards. He's right next to the king. So here you have Daniel, who's a Jew, right next to the king in terms of his wisdom. Then you got Zerubbabel, who is right next to him in terms of being a bodyguard, but they're in captivity, right? Let me show y'all somebody else who was around that same time frame, a little bit later than this, but Esther, right? Go to the book of Esther, y'all, real quick. What's this? Giving the sense, y'all, right? So we're gonna tap into all the little actions so we could see how everything is moving, right? All right, let's get that book of Esther right after Nehemiah. We're gonna start we're gonna start chapter 1, verse 1. We're gonna get the understanding first and then move on, right? And give it to y'all, right? Now, this is the book of Esther, chapter 1, 1 through 3. Now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus, this is Ahasuerus, which reigned from India even unto Ethiopia, over 127 provinces, right? So we know it's the same Persia, right? 127 provinces, it's just a different king at this time, right? That in those days, when the king Ahasuerus sat on the throne of his kingdom, which was in Shushan, the palace, in the 3rd year of his reign, he made a feast unto all his princes and his servants, the power of Persia and Media, the nobles and princes of the provinces being before him, right? So it's the same situation, right? He's given because they would do that, right? Give pretty much a party for his people to show them appreciation. Y'all know how it is. Y'all been through that, right? So now let's jump to verse 10. And some of you have read this story before, but we getting to something. I'm gonna connect some things. On the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commended Muhammad, Bisla, Harbona, Bigda, Abagda, Zephyr, and Carcass, the 7 chamberlains that served in the presence of Ahasuerus the king, to bring Vashti the queen before the king with the crown royal, to show the people and the princess her beauty, for she was fair to look on. So he wanted to show off his queen. He wanted to show off his queen. He said, listen, I'm going to bring Vashti out here so everybody can see how large I'm really living. I got the baddest chick. That's what he's saying, right? But the queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlains. Therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him. So when they called her, she said, I ain't going out there. I'm doing something else right now. To hell with the king. I'm right here right now, right? Then the king said to the wise men, which knew the times, for so was the king's manner towards all that knew the law and judgment. And the next unto him was Karshina, Shetha, Admatha, Tarshish, Meres, Marsena, Memucan, the 7 princes of Persia and Media, which saw the king's face and which sat the first in the kingdom. At this time, it was 7 princes instead of 3, right? What shall we do unto the queen Vashti according to the law? Because she have not performed the commandment of the king Ahasuerus by the chamberlain. So now they getting together and they saying, hey, we called her. She didn't come. What we going to do? So the council was started, right? And when Memucan answered before the king, and the princess Vashti the queen have not done wrong to the king only, but also to all the princes and to all the people that are in the provinces of the king of Ahasuerus. So this is heavy. Vashti violated the program. When she heard that's her husband, she told her husband, I ain't coming out there, right? So now his people are saying, but she ain't only violate the king, she disrespected all of us now, everybody in the province. Because why? Watch this. For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so that they shall despise their husbands in their eyes when it shall be reported. The king Ahasuerus commanded Vashti the queen to be brought in before him, but she came not. Likewise shall the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto all the king's princes, which have heard of the deed of the queen, thus shall there arise too much contempt and wrath, right? So they saying, listen, if this gets out that this woman violated the king, then how the hell, right? How are we going to keep our women in check? They're going to violate us as well, right? So the same thing. Now, this is amongst the Persians. This is amongst the Persians. So the same thing with us today in Israel. That's why all of us, our sisters, you have to be according to the scriptures. You got to work and be a pillar of rest, right? Y'all got to be a helpmate. Y'all got to keep that respect and love and honor towards your husband, right? Because when you don't, guess what? Other sisters see it and they start moving in that manner. Now, all of a sudden, you got the whole thing twisted and toe up. That's why our community is the way it is, right? It started off with one bad apple. Now things is out of control. So you've seen it right here. This is amongst the other nations. They didn't play, right? So now we're going to jump to chapter 2, and we're going to read verses 1 and 2, and then we're going to jump again, right? I'm just getting to the point of something, right? After these things, when the wrath of King Ahasuerus was appeased, he remembered Vashti and what she had done and what was decreed against her, right? So now Ahasuerus was pissed, but he didn't jump on her at that. And after he came down, after they told him, listen, this is what we're going to do, so on and so forth, then he calmed down Then after he got calm, and this is for you men out there who got husbands, sometimes, I'm sorry, for you men who got wives, my apologies, right? For you husbands that have these wives, right? Don't be getting angry. Yo, relax, calm down, woosah, then go back, right? But this was a little bit different though. All right. Verse 2. Then said the king's servants that ministered unto him, let there be fair young virgins sought for the king. So how they was going to deal with it, they're not talking to Vashti. Oh, Vashti, don't do this to your husband. This is not the way to behave. No, they're getting rid of Vashti. Vashti's out of here. Time for some new blood. So they say, yo, we got some new young virgins, right? All right, y'all, jump down to verse 8. So it came to pass when the king's commandment and his decree was heard, and when many maidens were gathered together unto Shushan, the palace, to the custody of Hegai, that Esther was brought also unto the king's house, to the custody of Hegai, keeper of the women. And the maiden pleased him, and she obtained kindness of him, and he speedily gave her her things for purification, which such things as belonged to her, and 7 maidens, which were meet to be given her out of the king's house. And he preferred her and her maids unto the best place of the house of the women, right? So now Esther was come. The king liked her. He preferred her. He liked how she moved, right? Now, Esther, for those of you who do not know, she's an Israelite, right? From the tribe of Benjamin, right? Name is Hadassah, right? Now, we're going to read on. Esther had not showed her people nor her kindred. So he didn't quite know that she was Israel. He didn't know she was a Jew. All right. He didn't know, because now what? The kingdom has everybody in his kingdom. So they're going around taking women from all nations that are in their captivity. He's not looking to see who's who. He don't give a damn, because now they all Persians in his mind. You understand what I'm saying? In his mind, hey, everybody's a Persian. We over this thing. Everybody is Persian. So he don't know exactly where she's from, but she is an Israelite, right? For Mordecai, her uncle, charged her that she should not show it. So Mordecai said, don't let him know. And Mordecai walked every day before the court of the women's house to know how Esther did and what should become of her. Now, when every maid's turn was come to go in to King Ahasuerus, after that she had been 12 months, according to the manner of the women, for so were the days of their purifications accomplished. Right. So she had to purify herself for 12 months. This was not a game. All right. So the women had to go out when purification, they had to go bathe in oils. She had to learn the laws of Persia so she's able to communicate. Right. Same thing, you know what I'm saying? Today, when women have high-powered husbands and they dealing with business, the women got to be going to certain things. Not that they got to know their husband's business completely, but they can't sound like no idiot. They come over, hey, how are you? And you're like, oh, I'm good, nigga. That can't happen. You understand what I'm saying? That can't happen. All of that hoodness got to be going. They got to be able to have a conversation like corporate America, right? So here was the same type of thing. So she had to be trained up and all that, right? So here you go, right? So the purifications accomplished, to wit, 6 months with oil of myrrh and 6 months with sweet odors and with other things for the purifying of women. So by the time these women showed up, they were like pristine. It was another level. You know what I'm saying? 12 months of sweet odors and purified stuff. I mean, come on. That means that thing is just coming through their pores. All right. I'm just trying to give y'all a visual. You know how we do. Then thus came every maiden unto the king. Whatsoever she desired was given her, to give with her out of the house of the women unto the king's house. In the evening she went. On the morrow she returned into the second house of the women, to the custody of Shashgaz, the king's chamberlain, which kept the concubines. She came in unto the king no more, except the king delighted in her, and that she were called by name. So all of these women from all the nations that they chose to be to be in this competition, so to speak, right? Once the king takes a look at them, they no longer will see the king again until he chooses one of them, right? So now verse 15. Now when the turn of Esther, the daughter of Abihail, the uncle of Mordecai, who had taken her for his daughter, was come to go in unto the king, she required nothing but what Hegai, the king's chamberlain, the keeper of women, appointed. And Esther obtained favor in the sight of all of them that looked upon her, right? When you read on, we're going to stop there. When you read on, Esther became the queen. Now, what am I showing you? I'm showing you that now you have a queen who's a Jew. And you might be saying, wait a minute, hold on a second. For those of you who may not have read this, you might say, wait a minute, but isn't it against the law for us to marry to other nations? Now, Mordecai, when you read, was trying to push this issue. to get her to become the queen. You're going to find out when you read the book of Esther that it was necessary because she did something to save our lives. So that had to happen, right? The Lord had to allow that in order for her to save us down the road, right? That's another story I just wanted to give y'all, show y'all how our people were high up in the society, but they were what? Captives. We got to get that in our head. All right. Let's go to the book of Matthew 27. I don't want y'all to think I'm going on from a tangent, but a little bit, because I'm showing y'all something, right? So I thought of this as I was reading it. I said, you know what? A lot of us out there with good jobs and stuff like that, you're not able to come in, but follow us, stay online with us, learn. All right. Be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove, like this man we're about to read about right here. Go to Matthew 27 and verse 57. Okay. So it showed. Now, this has nothing to do with the Persian captivity. This is during the Roman captivity, right? So now let me show y'all this. We're going to start in verse 57. This is after Christ was crucified, right? He's now still there. His body's hanging, right? Now what? We're going to read this. When the even was come, there came a rich man of Arimathea named Joseph, who also himself was Jesus's disciple. He went to Pilate and begged the body of Jesus. Then Pilate commanded the body to be delivered. And when Joseph had taken the body, he wrapped it in a clean linen cloth and laid it in his own new tomb, which he had hewn out in the rock, and he rolled a great stone to the door of the sepulchre and departed, right? So here you have a rich man, all right? A rich man who was a Jew, right? Our people, right? He was so high up and so connected that he was able to go directly to Pilate and ask for the body. How many of us is able to go to the mayor or governor of a city? Like if you in New York, how much? You can't go to the governor and ask him for something like that. You got to already be connected. If you're that high up, that's something. The point I'm trying to tell you is that he understood he was in captivity, y'all. We're in captivity. I don't want y'all to ever forget that, because sometimes we do a little good. We make a couple of dollars. You start questioning, are we really in captivity? I'm living good. I'm living better than some Edomites. No, you're in captivity. All right. Let me show y'all something, and then we're going to get right back to Esdras. Go to the book of Baruch. Go to the book of Baruch, and then we headed right back to Esdras, but I got to show y'all this. All right. Go to Baruch. We're going to go to chapter 3, verse 8. Why am I going to Baruch? Remember, Baruch was the scribe for Jeremiah. Jeremiah was in the time of Babylon, right? When Babylon was defeated, right? Remember, he gave the prophecy of Babylon being defeated, and Baruch, what? Baruch was a scribe at that time, right? So Baruch, Jeremiah, they all lived through this, right? But look what he says here. The book of Baruch, chapter 3 and verse 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity. There was no, they didn't weren't for 1 second thinking that they wasn't captive. You think they didn't know that a couple of and not that all the prophets knew each other. Okay, all the prophets did not know who each other was, but the point is they knew some of they people was in high positions. Okay, but still, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our God. All right, so I just wanted to bring that to y'all attention. We seeing all these brothers in high spots, but they're in captivity. They recognize that. They know that. But what are they doing? They're being at peace with all men, like Romans 8 says, right? They're being at peace with all men. And they what? They're being wise as serpent, harmless as doves, right? Come on. Let's go back to first Esdras, all right? We're going to back to chapter 3, and we're going to start in verse 9, all right? And said that when the king is risen, some will give him the writings, and of whose side the king and the 3 princes of Persia shall judge, that his sentence is the wisest, to him shall the victory be given as was appointed, right? So now we're going to read down to verse 12, right? Now the first of the bodyguards, right? It says the first wrote, wine is the strongest, right? So his thing is wine. He's going to now write sentences or write something about wine, right? The second, verse 11, the second wrote, the king is strongest. So you have one guy talking about wine is strong, the other one talking about the king is strong. And then the third wrote, women are strongest, but above all things, truth beareth away the victory, right? So the 3 of them now, they have their topics. They wrote these letters, and they're giving it to what? They're pushing it to the king, right? From there, we're going to read down, y'all. We're going to read down. Let me continue reading. We're going to read down to 17. Now, when the king was risen up, they took their writings and delivered them unto him. And so he read them. And sending forth, he called all the princes of Persia and Media, and the governors, and the captains, and the lieutenants, and the chief officers, and sat him down in the royal seat of judgment. And the writings were read before them. And he said, call the young men, and they shall declare their own sentences. So they were called and came in. So he said, listen, we're not going to read this and try to figure this all out. We're going to read with these guys. Call them three in and let them speak on what they wrote, right? Declare their own sentences. That's what he said. And he said unto them, declare unto us your mind concerning the writings. Then began the first, who had spoken of the strength of wine, right? So now he's going through it. I wasn't really planning on reading this whole thing, right? Let's read a couple verses. And he said thus, O ye men, how exceeding strong is wine! It causeth all men to err that drink it. It maketh the mind of the king and of the fatherless child to be all one, of the bondman and of the free man, of the poor man and of the rich, right? And when you read on, he's discussing his whole spiel on wine, right? So now we're going to jump to chapter 4, which is right there, right? We're going to read verses 1 and 2. This guy is talking about the king is strong. Remember that. Then the second that had spoken of the strength of the king began to say, O ye men, do not men excel in strength that bear rule over sea and land and all things in them? So now he's talking about the king's strength. You read on, you're going to see all the points that he's making to prove that the king is the strongest and not wine and not the other one. Now let's jump down to the third one, right? Which is, hold on, let me make sure. Verse 13, y'all. I'm just going to get right to it. Then the third, who had spoken of women and of the truth, this was Zerubbabel. So this is the same Zerubbabel we've been reading about, right? From before, in Esther and in Zechariah and Haggai, all that, right? Haggai, this is the same Zerubbabel, right? Began to speak. We're going to read from 13, and we're going to read down, y'all, right? 31. O ye men, it is not the great king, nor the multitude of men, neither is it wine that excelleth. Who is it then that ruleth them, or hath the lordship over them? Are they not women? Women have borne the king and all the people that bear rule by sea and land. Even of the came they, they nourished them up that planted the vineyards from whence the wine cometh. These also make garments for men. These bring glory unto men, and without women cannot men be. So he's there talking about women, saying how they're the strongest in the kingdom. And we're going, as we read on, I'm gonna relate. I'm gonna go back to something that we read not too long ago. Yea, and if men have gathered together gold and silver or any other goodly thing, do they not love a woman, which is comely in favor and beauty? And letting all those things go, do they not gape and even with open mouth fix their eyes fast on her, right? So for instance, and sisters, if you're on, listen, y'all already know, the sisters know already, you brothers, you damn sure know, you getting money, you got a nice car, you driving, but then a beautiful woman walks by and you're not even thinking about that car no more, your money, you looking at her. This is what he's talking about. When they get gold and all of that, is the woman still not being looked at and gate they open? Damn, look at that. That's what he's talking about, that the woman got power. Watch this, y'all. And have not all men more desire unto her than unto silver or gold or any goodly thing whatsoever? Hey, most men, let's be honest, if you put a gold bar in a beautiful woman, most men are gonna take the woman. You know what I'm saying? Most men gonna take the women. They're gonna say, damn, you know what? I can make some money somewhere. But this, no, I'm taking this. Y'all know what it is. Some of y'all is like that. A man leaveth his own father that brought him up and his own country and cleaveth unto his wife. So he pulling that from the scriptures, right? Because that's generally what it is. Remember, the Lord said that, right? Cleave unto your wife, right? We leave father and mother. He sticks not to spend his life with his wife. He and remembereth neither father nor mother nor country. By this also you must know that women have dominion over you. Damn. So he's saying that the man, when he gets this woman, it ain't the fact that he's sticking with her all the time. He running out there to go do something, right? Because the woman has dominion over the man. Watch, y'all listen close. Do ye not labor and toil and give and bring all to the woman? Because that's right. Yea, a man taketh his sword and goeth his way to rob and to steal, to sail upon the sea and upon rivers, and looketh upon a lion and goeth in the darkness. And when he hath stolen, spoiled, and robbed, he bringeth it to his love. All the hustlers, all the drug dealers doing all type of stuff. What are they doing that for? Most times they're doing it for a woman. They ain't doing it just to make up a bunch of money. Yeah, money's good. But a lot of times they bringing it to do what? Get women, right? An athlete. He becomes big in his sport. What does he do? He thinking about getting a woman. This is what he talking about. Wherefore a man loveth his wife better than father and mother. Yea, many there be that have run out of their wits for women. See, that's it right there. See, all this, what he's saying is not to say that the woman got power and that's good. He's saying you men, your mind ain't right. You haven't yet conquered yourself because you run out of your wits. The fact that you got to go rob, steal, and all of that, showing you that you're not right, that you're going crazy, right? And become servants for their sakes. Many also have perished, have erred and sinned for women. There you go. And now, do ye not believe me? Is not the king great in his power? Do not all the regions fear to touch him? Yet did I see him and Apame, the king's concubine, the daughter of the admiral Bardacus, sitting at the right hand of the king. So now he's saying, hey, this guy mentioned how the king is powerful. That's true. The king is powerful. But did I not see the king sitting with this woman, Apame? Verse 30, and taking the crown from the king's head and setting it upon her own head. She also struck the king with her left hand. Damn. So she took his crown. He's saying, yo, I just saw the king get his crown taken off his head. She put it on her head and she slapped him. Damn. And yet for all this, the king gaped and gazed upon her with open mouth. If she laughed upon him, he laughed also. But if she took any displeasure at him, the king was fain to flatter that she might be reconciled to him again. So he's saying, damn, the king ain't even want her upset. If she was upset, then the king was like, hey, he tried to talk up. He don't even want her upset. That's how beautiful that's how much he's out of his wits, that the king is sitting on a throne and she's violating him in front of everybody. He don't give a damn. All right. Verse 32. O ye men, how can it be but women should be strong, seeing they do thus? Right? So he's saying the woman got to be strong, because how the hell she could get away with this kind of thing? This is what he's saying, right? When you read on, he goes into it a little bit more, right? But I wanted to stop there, right? I wanted to stop there. Hold on. No, actually, no. Hold on, y'all. We're gonna read on. We're gonna read on. I'm sorry. Then the king and the princes looked upon one another, so he began to speak of the truth. Meaning what? He started to bring out scriptures. You understand? The truth. That's what it's talking about. And y'all gonna see. O ye men, are not women strong? Great is the earth, high is the heaven, swift is the sun in his course, for he compasseth the heavens round about, and fetcheth his course again to his own place in one day. Is he not great that maketh these things? He's talking about the Lord. Therefore, great is the truth, and stronger than all things. Remember, he wasn't talking about just women. His thing was women and the truth. Remember that. All the earth calleth upon the truth, and heaven blesseth it. All works shake and tremble at it, and with it is no unrighteous thing. Wine is wicked. The king is wicked. Yo, remember, he's giving this in front of the king. Zerubbabel is a monster. Wine is wicked. The king is wicked. Women are wicked. All the children of men are wicked. And such are all the wicked works, and there is no truth in them. In their unrighteousness also they shall perish. Right? We're going to read down to 45, y'all. As for the truth, it endureth, and it is always strong. It liveth and conquereth forevermore. With her there is no accepting of persons or rewards, but she doeth the things that are just, and refraineth from all unjust and wicked things, and all men do well like of her works. Neither in her judgment is any unrighteousness, and she is the strength, kingdom, power, and majesty of all ages. Blessed be the God of truth. And with that he held his peace. And all the people then shouted and said, great is truth and mighty above all things, right? So everybody, remember, everybody's having a good time. Everybody's throwing it back. So he can say anything at this point, but he's bringing it to them. They feeling him right now. They're like, yeah, great is the truth. Great is the truth. They're going crazy with it. Remember, this is the same Zerubbabel that is rebuilding Jerusalem. All right. So now he got a little power. They know what it is. They showing him honor. All right. Then said the king unto him, ask what thou wilt, more than is appointed in writing. Watch this, y'all. And we will give it thee, because thou art found wisest, and thou shalt sit next to me and shalt be called my cousin. So Darius is saying, hey, listen, more than what y'all asked for, I'm going to give you some more. Just write down what you want. Whatever you want, we're giving it to you, my cousin. You're going to sit next to me. Then said he unto the king, remember thy vow, which thou hast vowed to build Jerusalem in the day when thou camest to the kingdom. Remember when we read in Daniel's 4 and 5, when we were going through that class, remember Darius had said that the kingdom was going to be rebuilt. Once he took over, then the kingdom started to be rebuilt. So we're seeing how it's actually coming into fruition, right? And to send away all the vessels that were taken away out of Jerusalem, which Cyrus set apart, when he vowed to destroy Babylon and to send them again thither, right? So remember, Nebuchadnezzar took out all the vessels out of the temple and brought it to Babylon. Cyrus overtook Babylon, took all the vessels, and said that he was going to what? Return it to the Israelites. Then, remember, I'm just giving y'all, refreshing y'all. Then after Cyrus was gone, then the other leaders came and they stopped Zerubbabel from building. They hindered him. Then when Darius came back, now this is changing. All right. So he's refreshing his memory, so to speak, right? Verse 45. Thou also hast vowed to build up the temple, which the Edomites burned when Judea was made desolate by the Chaldees, right? The Chaldees is Babylon. So now you're saying the Edomites. Yes, the Edomites was down with them. All right, let's hit a couple of scriptures, y'all. Let's hit a couple of scriptures. And when y'all read these scriptures, you're going to say, oh, yeah, you're right about that. And the reason I'm saying that, not that I'm right, the point is that when we're reading certain scriptures, we're not placing it in its historical spot, for lack of better words, right? We're not getting the full understanding of what. So now we can see it, right? So let's go to Obadiah. Let's go to the book of Obadiah first. All right. The book of Obadiah. Should we find out? I'm trying to find this thing. All right. So Obadiah is right before Jonah, for those of you who might be kind of new. All right. All right. We're going to go to Obadiah. We're going to hit verse 1, and then we're going to jump to verse 8, right? Watch this, y'all. Just so we can get the understanding. The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom, period. So now we know who this is talking about. It's talking about Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Verse 8. Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed, to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter, right? So now the Lord is telling them, right, through Obadiah, that Esau is going to be totally destroyed. That's why when you read in Romans 9 and 13, this is why the Lord said, I hated Esau. This is not nothing, the Christians or any Christians who's watching now, don't get upset about that. It's written right here. This is nothing that the brothers is taking out of context and trying to, oh, we hate white people. No, it's telling you right here that he may be cut off by slaughter. Look at that first line. And thy mighty men, O Teman, right? It's calling Esau Teman. Let's find out why. Go to Genesis 36 and 11. Real quick, we're coming right back, y'all. Don't drop this. 36. Okay. 36. And let's go to, you know what? Let's start in verse 10, y'all. 36 and verse 10. These are Genesis 36 and verse 10. These are the name of Esau's sons. Listen close. Eliphaz, or read close, the son of Adah, the wife of Esau. Revel, or Reuel, the son of Bashemeth, the wife of Esau. And the sons of Eliphaz were Teman. You see that? So when the Lord says, oh, Teman, he's talking to the entire family of Esau. All right. The entire family of Esau. Same thing like when we were reading about the destruction of Babylon, and the Lord called Babylon Bel, and he called it Merodach, right? Because Merodach was one of the kings, who was Nebuchadnezzar's grandson, right? So he called those names to let you know that Babylon was going to get destroyed. Same thing here. He's calling Esau Teman. All right. Let's read down. Look at this. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee. Right. And we're going to read down to 15. And thou shalt be cut off forevermore. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was as one of them. So this is what we reading about in Esdras, when he said the Edomites burnt Jerusalem. Right? It wasn't only the Edomites, it was really Babylon. But Esau was there, and they were like, yeah, they gave him information. They was around. That's what, but he named them. He named them, but he knew who it was really. It was Babylon who was actually doing it, but Esau went along for the ride. If y'all remember back in when we were doing Daniel 1, remember the kingdom of Judah and the kingdom of Israel had got together with Moab, right? To go, got together with Esau to destroy Moab. Esau is a what you call it? A damn what's the word I'm looking for? He's a sycophant. That's the big word for saying opportunist, right? He's gonna jump in wherever he need to be, and especially when it comes time to destroy our people, right? Verse 12. But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger, neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction, neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. Thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Right? So they getting destroyed for doing what? Helping to destroy us, right? Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither shouldest thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. So if any Christians come and say, hey, listen, but why would the Lord do this? Why would he? Just take him here. Take them here and take them to the history and say, this is why the Lord. They might say, oh, but other nations did it. But so what? This is what the Lord chose. That's what it's talking about, Romans 9, right? About the vessel saying to the potter, why has you made me this way? Yo, don't worry about that. This is what's happening. All right, so let's get back, y'all. Go to Psalms 137. And I saw somebody had put that, raise it. Exactly. Now y'all going to fully understand. Not that I'm saying you didn't understand the scripture before, but now you're going to put it in context, I don't want to say chronological, but historical context, right? And it's also a prophetic context, right? So let's go to Psalms 137. Yeah, the Lord delivered it to us, y'all. Y'all ain't got to fear nothing. We have the truth right here. We have it. All right, we reading down because I love this. This is one of my favorite Psalms outside of Psalms 149. My aunt asked me that, what's your favorite Psalms? I was like, Psalms 149. She read that thing and then started looking at me funny after that, y'all. All right, so let's go. Psalms 137. By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down. Yea, we wept when we remembered Zion, right? So remember, in this Babylon, they wept. And also when we came to America, we was damn weeping. We hanged our harps upon the willows in the midst thereof. For there they that carried us away captive required of us a song, and they that wasted us required of us mirth, saying, sing us one of the songs of Zion. Did that not come? Did it not happen here? They turned us into a bunch of entertainers out here. All right. How shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? So this goes for that time, contextually in the time of Babylon, and also prophetically in these times. All right. We getting here, y'all. If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. If I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom. Come on. In the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. That means destroy it, even to the foundation thereof. Y'all hear that? O daughter of Babylon. That's why they call the daughter of Babylon, because they helped Babylon destroy us. And they took on all the characteristics of Babylon. Y'all seeing that? Who are to be destroyed. Happy shall he be that rewardeth thee, as thou hast served us. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones. Yeah, because when you look at all the history, that's what they did. They, in the Northern Kingdom, they took the baby, smashed their heads against the stones. We have the pictures of that. You understand what I'm saying? So the Lord said, yeah, you're going to get that too. All right. Let's go back to First Ezra, y'all, chapter 4, right, where we left off in verse 45. All right. First Ezra, chapter 4, verse 45. Thou also hast vowed to build up the temple which the Edomites burnt when Judea was made desolate by the Chaldees. And now, O Lord the King, this is that which I require and which I desire of thee. And this is the princely liberality proceeding from thyself. I desire, therefore, that thou make good the vow, the performance whereof with thine own mouth thou hast vowed to the King of heaven. Then Darius the king stood up and kissed him and wrote letters for him unto all the treasurers and lieutenants and captains and governors, that they should safely convey on their way both him and all those that go up with him to build Jerusalem. All right. So this was it right here. When Zerubbabel had an opportunity to get something, he asked for his people. We got to learn that thing, man. Y'all got to learn how to love y'all people. Because again, they would have said, what else you want? Could I get a castle next to yours? That's not what he said. And he probably could have got it. But he said, listen, I want to rebuild Jerusalem. Remember the vow that Cyrus, and you know, that's why he said the vow that you made, right? Because Darius is from that line of Cyrus. So he's saying you, meaning that kingly line. That's what y'all promised us, right? And remember what we read in Ezra, right? Remember they had paperwork and everything. They checked the paperwork to see if what he was saying was true, and they found that it was true, right? All right, y'all. So let's go back to Daniel chapter 6. Let's go to Daniel chapter 6. We're going to start in verse 3. All right, we're going to read down to 10, y'all. All right. Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes because an excellent spirit was in him, and the king thought to set him over the whole realm. Right. Then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom. Right. So they was jealous. So they wanted to find something about him for him not to get that post. Because when it says that the king sought to do this, that means he was asking around. What you think about Daniel? I'm thinking about putting him over the whole realm. And they like, what they gonna say? Oh, Daniel's a piece of God. But they couldn't do that because then it's gonna make it look like the king don't know what he's talking about. So they were subtle. Oh no, Daniel's great. But now after they walked away, they're like, yo, we got to find a way to get rid of this nigga. You understand what I'm saying? So concerning the kingdom, but they could find none occasion because Daniel was on point, nor fault. For as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him. So now here it is, y'all. I just want to show this, y'all. Daniel, what is a prophet of God, right? He's underneath the enemy, but he makes sure he handles his business. He's faithful. He doesn't rob from the king. He doesn't try to undermine him. Nothing. He's holding it down. He's keeping his integrity in all ways, shape, form, and fashion. Because what the scriptures tell you is what? You got to be seen righteous within and without. Even the people outside of the Jews knew Daniel was a man of integrity. We have to move like that, y'all. So no matter what, where you at, the people gonna say, damn, it's a good dude. Yo, no, he with them group that they hate people. They hate what? I don't know. This guy's always on point here. He's every morning, he's gracious. He even bought us coffee one day. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you have to be blameless. Don't make yourself into a problem. You understand? I'm picking up. For as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him. Verse 5. Then said these men, we shall not find any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of his God. Now, they're not trying to see if he's making a mistake with his law. They're trying to create a scenario where the laws will get him in trouble. And we're going to read about that. Okay. Watch this. Then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king and said thus unto him, King Darius, live forever. All the presidents of the kingdom, the governors and the princes, the counselors and the captains have consulted together to establish a royal statute and to make a firm decree that whomsoever shall ask a petition of any god or man for 30 days, save of thee, O king, he shall be cast into the den of lions. Right? So they saying, listen, king, for 30 days, nobody can pray to any other gods. They have to come and request something from you. For 30 days, they can't request anything of their own God. They cannot pray to their God or anything. Right? Watch this. Now, O king, establish the decree and sign the writing, that it be not changed according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altereth not. Wherefore, King Darius signed the writing and the decree. Now, when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went into the house, and his windows being open in his chamber toward Jerusalem, he kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his God as he did aforetime. Right? What is Daniel doing? Daniel's doing what we all need to be doing, right? Because he knew the writings. Right? Let's get that real quick. Psalms. We're coming right back, y'all. But just to refresh our own memories. Okay. Daniel knew that thing got signed. He was like, oh my God, this is what he had to deal with. Same thing with some of y'all on y'all jobs. Y'all can't just be in there with your fringes swinging. Y'all can't do it. Y'all can't do it. I've been in them type of positions. You can't do it. You got to get to the job, tuck in your fringes or have them tucked before you get there and all of that. You can't do it because you know that once they see that and find out, you got a problem. They're going to start working on getting your ass up out of there. They probably can't get rid of you right then and there, but they're going to start working on you. Some of y'all is good. Y'all have certain jobs where they can't really discriminate against you. So they're going to let you live. They just don't really like you. Let me be the one to tell you that, right? So Psalms 55:17, y'all, watch this. Evening and morning and at noon will I pray and cry aloud, and he shall hear my voice. So this is what Daniel was doing, right? He didn't give a damn about what they talking about. He said, I'm going to my chambers and I'm going to go pray, right? Let's go back. Daniel. All right. We're going back to, we just finished up verse 10. Let's start on 11. We're going to read from 16 through 16. Then these men assembled and found Daniel praying and making supplication before his God. Then they came near and spake before the king concerning the king's decree. Hast thou not signed a decree that every man that shall ask a petition of any god or man within 30 days, save of thee, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions? The king answered and said, the thing is true, according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altereth not. Notice how they asked him that. They didn't say, hey, king, we just saw Daniel over here praying. They knew the king really loved Daniel. He had a lot of love for Daniel. He might have said, yeah, let that go. Just let him come talk to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to work that out. Don't worry about it. I'm going to speak to him. So they was crafty, right? Verse 13. Then answered they and said before the king that Daniel, which is of the captivity of the children of Judah. They knew this guy was a slave, y'all. Yo, we got to get our minds right. Regardeth not thee, O king, nor the decree that thou hast signed, but maketh his petition 3 times a day. So they were watching him. They said, yo, this dude be in there praying 3 times a day. He don't give a damn what we talking about. They knew. Then the king, when he heard these words, was sore displeased with himself and set his heart on Daniel to deliver him. And he labored till going down of the sun to deliver him. Then these men assembled unto the king and said unto the king, know, O king, that the law of the Medes and Persians is that no decree nor statute which the king established may be changed. Then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel and cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spake and said unto Daniel, thy God, whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. Did you hear what he said? Guess what? Guess what, y'all? If you look back up, right? 14. Then the king, when he heard these words, was sore displeased with himself. Why? Because he signed the decree. And it was Daniel. He loved Daniel. He got love with Daniel. He like, oh my God, why did I do that? Why did I do that? Right? So now he's telling Daniel, hey, your God is going to deliver you. This is what Darius is telling him, right? He didn't really want to do that. All right. Okay. But we here. Let's go. We're going to go back to where? Bell and the Dragon, right? Let's go to Bell and the Dragon, y'all. We're going back to Bell and the Dragon. Something in there for us. All right. We're going to start in verse 28. All right. Bell and the Dragon, verse 28, y'all. All right. When they of Babylon heard that, they took great indignation and conspired against the king. Hold on, let me just refresh y'all. Remember what we read in Bell and the Dragon. Remember, Daniel had defeated, when I say defeated, showed that Bell and the dragon were false gods. Remember that. He showed that Bell wasn't eating the food, and that dragon, he blew him up. Remember, he blew him up. So I want y'all to now put these things together, what we read in Daniel. Remember, they're angry with him, and they're saying about he's not supposed to pray to no. They couldn't pray to their thing no more. He already showed that their idols was garbage. They're heated. So they're like, hey, Darius, just have people come to you. Don't have them praying to their own God, right? So put these things together. This is why they pissed off with this dude. Not only that he's going to raise them up, right? But because he destroyed their idols. Because remember, the Persians were actually, and this is beautiful too, the Persians were actually worshiping the Babylonian gods. Same thing today in current day Babylon, all over the world. They celebrating what? White man Jesus. Okay. Remember that show, American Gods? That's what that whole show is about. That's why they call it American Gods. You understand what I'm saying? And all kind of things are known as gods, and everybody's worshiping that thing. So they came and they started worshiping the Babylonian gods. It was shown to be garbage. Now they're mad, right? So now, just making y'all see what's going on. Back to 28. When they of Babylon heard that, they took great indignation and conspired against the king, saying, the king has become a Jew, and he hath destroyed Bel. He hath slain the dragon and put the priest to death. You see that? So they say, yo, this king, he become a Jew. That's why they spoke to him that way in Daniel, because they knew that he had love for Daniel. They saying, this dude acting like a damn Jew. This is ridiculous, right? So they came to the king and said, deliver us Daniel, or else we will destroy thee and thine house. Now, okay, this is not written in Daniel. It's not written in Daniel, but this is why he was forced to hand Daniel over. Because what, when they say destroy him, you might be thinking, wait a minute, how they gonna press the king like that when he got the power? But remember, he's only as strong as his team. If they got all the men in the provinces against him, he got a problem. Right? So he had to be wise as a serpent, right? And say, okay, let me give them Daniel. That's why he went to Daniel and said, Daniel, your God is going to save you. All right, y'all, keep that in mind, right? Verse 30. Now, when the king saw that they pressed him sore, being constrained, he delivered Daniel unto them, right? Who cast him into the lion's den, where he was 6 days, right? So Daniel was in the lion's den for 6 days, y'all. And in the den, there were 7 lions, and they had given them every day 2 carcasses and 2 sheep, which then were not given to them, to the intent they might devour Daniel, right? So they didn't give them their normal portions of food, because they said, you know what, they're gonna be hungry as hell. When we put Daniel in there, they're gonna tear his ass up. That's what they were hoping for. Now, there was in Jewry a prophet called Habakkuk, right? So this is the Habakkuk of the Old Testament, right? Though that little book Habakkuk, he was there too, y'all, right? So now Habakkuk is in the mix, all right? Let's get something on Habakkuk. Let's stop here. Let's go to the book of Habakkuk. Let's do that. Let's go to the book of Habakkuk, yo. All right. Let's check that out. And we were in Habakkuk, right? Last 2 weeks ago, we went to Habakkuk, right? But now I'm showing you that even during this situation, Habakkuk is involved. Let's get a little bit on him. All right, so we're going to start in chapter 1. We're going to read from 1 through 9. The burden which Habakkuk the prophet did see. O Lord, how long shall I cry, and thou wilt not hear, even cry out unto thee of violence, and thou wilt not save? Why dost thou show me iniquity and cause me to behold grievance? For spoiling and violence are before me, and there are that raise up strife and contention. Therefore the Lord is slack, and judgment doth never go forth. For the wicked doeth compass about the righteous, therefore wrong judgment proceedeth. Right? So he's talking about the state of Israel at this time, right? What they're going through. Remember what's everything that's happening. Okay. Behold ye among the heathen, and regard and wonder marvelously. For I will work a work in your days, which ye will not believe, though it be told you. Now this is the Lord talking to him. For lo, I raise up the Chaldeans, the Babylonians, that bitter and hasty nation, which shall march through the breadth of the land to possess the dwelling places that are not theirs. They are terrible and dreadful. Their judgment and their dignity shall proceed of themselves. Their horses also are swifter than the leopards. Let's pay attention to this, y'all. And are more fierce than the evening wolves. And their horsemen shall spread themselves, and their horsemen shall come from far. Their horsemen shall come from far. They shall fly as the eagle that hasteth to eat. They shall come all for violence. Their faces shall suck up as the east wind, and they shall gather the captivity as the sand. Right? So this is talking about Babylon. That time they were going to come, roll through Israel, right? And what? They shall come from far. They shall fly as the eagle, right? You know we got to go to Deuteronomy. You already understand. Deuteronomy 28, y'all. The prophets all understood. They all understood. The Lord gave it to them. All right. Deuteronomy 28:49. Real quick, y'all. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. Watch this. Right. So you got the swift as the eagle. You got them coming from far. Right. We're going to leave it right there. You know what? Let's get 50. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. And this is what it says back to Habakkuk in verse 9, when it says, and they shall gather the captivity as the sand, right? So all the prophets are speaking, and it's saying something like, in Hosea is actually saying the same thing, right? So the prophets knew the Lord was giving it to them. Everyone had their place in it. I'm just showing y'all, right? Now, we're in Habakkuk, go to chapter 3. I want to show y'all something. Check this out. This beautiful stuff right here. 3 and 16. Watch this, y'all. When I heard, my belly trembled, my lips quivered at the voice. Rottenness entered into my bones, and I trembled in myself, that I might rest in the day of trouble, right? In the day of trouble. Listen close. When he cometh up unto the people, he will invade them with his troops. So what is he talking about? He's talking about the return of Christ. He said Christ is going to invade them with his troops. How does he know that? Because the Lord is showing him the vision, right? The Lord is showing him the vision. But I want to key in on something. Right in the middle there, it says that I might rest in the day of trouble, right? When he's being shown the vision, he's in it. He's seeing what's going on. He said, I hope that I'm at rest, meaning he's asleep, dead. He don't want to be there when this is all going down, right? But watch this, y'all. Go to 2nd Ezra, chapter 1. Okay, 2nd Ezra, chapter 1, real quick. 2nd Ezra, chapter 1 and verse 38, y'all. All right, 2nd Ezra, chapter 1 and verse 38. And now, brother, behold what glory, and see the people that cometh from the east, unto whom I will give for leaders Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Hosea, Amos, and Micah, Joel, Obadiah, and Jonah, Nahum, and Habakkuk. So guess what? Habakkuk is going to be in these last days. He's either here now or he's going to be here when that time comes. We don't know exactly when, but it's clear. So when he was being shown that vision, he was in it. He was there in it, watching it go down. So at that moment, he's not sure if he was actually there or he's seeing it, but he's saying, listen, I hope I'm asleep when it go down. But Habakkuk, you ain't going to be asleep. You're going to be right there when it's going down. All right. So I'm just giving you the understanding of who this Habakkuk is. This is a powerful spirit right here, y'all. Powerful spirit. So let's go back to Bell and the Dragon. All right, Bell and the Dragon, and we're going to be in verse 33. All right, Bell and the Dragon, 33. Now there was in Jewry a prophet called Habakkuk, who had made pottage and had broken bread in a bowl, and was going into the field for to bring it to the reapers. But the angel of the Lord said unto Habakkuk, go carry the dinner that thou hast into Babylon unto Daniel, who is in the lion's den. And Habakkuk said, Lord, I never saw Babylon, neither do I know where the den is. He said, yo, I don't know where this thing is. What are you talking about? Habakkuk, I ain't trying to, you know what I mean? That sounds like a big job. Then the angel of the Lord took him by the crown and bare him by the hair of his head, and through the vehemency of his spirit set him in Babylon over the den. So Habakkuk asking questions. Listen, man, I don't know where this Babylon is, Lord. And then not only Babylon, you want me to go to some lions? Then I don't know what's going on. Oh, angel came and just took him. Y'all know the scripture, right? A man's goings in the ways of the Lord. This is on another level, right? A lot of y'all driving sometimes. Y'all be like, damn, I wanted to go down that block. What the hell I'm going over here for? Oh boy, and I got because the Lord already directed your steps. That's it. It's game over. We don't give a damn what you think about. No. You going over here? You gonna go the long way? I need you to go the long way. If you go over here, it might be a problem. Just take your ass the long way. You know. Anyway, but this also happened in another time. I just want to give y'all some things. Right. Let's go to Ezekiel. All right. Let's go to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 8. All right. Chapter 8, and we will start in verse 1. All right. So Ezekiel chapter 8 and verse 1, y'all. And it came to pass in the 6th year, in the 6th month, in the 5th day of the month, as I sat in my house, and the elders of Judah sat before me, that the hand of the Lord God fell there upon me. Then I beheld, and lo, a likeness as the appearance of fire, from the appearance of his loins even downward fire, and from his loins even upward, as the appearance of brightness, as the color of amber. And he put forth the form of a hand, and took me by a lock of my head. You see that? Same thing. Grabbed him by his head, took him somewhere. And the Spirit lifted me up between the earth and the heaven, and brought me in the visions of God to Jerusalem, to the door of the inner gate that looketh toward the north, where was the seat of the image of jealousy, which provoketh to jealousy. All right. The image of jealousy, remember the Lord, right? His name is jealous. It tells you that in the book of Exodus, right? He said he's seen the image of jealousy. He obviously didn't see the Most High because no man has seen him. Remember, Christ even said that no man has heard his voice, no man has seen him. All right. But anyway, just wanted to show y'all that so y'all could write that in the precepts, right? Let's go back to Bel and the Dragon, y'all. Back to Bel and the Dragon. Okay, where we was at? Verse 36. Verse 36. We're gonna read down to 40. Then the angel of the Lord took him by the crown and bare him by the hair of his head, and through the vehemency of his spirit set him in Babylon over the den. And Habakkuk cried, saying, O Daniel, Daniel, take the dinner which God hath sent thee. And Daniel said, Thou hast remembered me, O God, neither hast thou forsaken them that seek thee and love thee. Right? So he's saying, Lord, all of us who seek you, you haven't forsaken us. All right. So we have to always keep that in mind. We always going through rough times, right? The Lord puts us through these things, but he ain't forsaken us. All right. So we got to keep that faith. All right, y'all. Verse 39. So Daniel arose and did eat. And the angel of the Lord set Habakkuk in his own place again immediately. So he took him right back. Right. Upon the seventh day, the king went to bewail Daniel. See, I love this right here. So on the seventh, he's expecting Daniel to be dead. He went to bewail him because he didn't want to put him there, right? The king went to bewail Daniel, and when he came to the den, he looked in, and behold, Daniel was sitting. All right, let's go back to Daniel chapter 6, y'all. We're gonna start in verse 16. All right. Verse 16, y'all. Then, and we just picking up from where we left off last time. Then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel and cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spake and said unto Daniel, Thy God, whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. Right? And a stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet and with the signet of his lords, that the purpose might not be changed concerning Daniel. Right? So once they close that thing, they're expecting him to just be dead. Right? Then the king went to his palace and passed the night fasting. You heard this? Neither were instruments of music brought before him, and his sleep went from him. He wasn't happy about what was going down. So he was fasting. He no music was playing. He told everybody, yo, shut the hell up. Then the king arose very early in the morning and went in haste unto the den of lions. And when he came to the den, this is where we left off in Bel, he cried with a lamentable voice unto Daniel. And the king spake and said to Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living God, is thy God whom thou servest continually able to deliver thee from the lions? Then said Daniel unto the king, O king, live forever. My God hath sent his angel and have shut the lion's mouth, that they have not hurt me. For as much as before him innocency was found in me, and also before thee, O king, have I done no hurt. Then was the king exceeding glad for him, and commanded that they should take Daniel up out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no manner of hurt was found upon him, because he believed in his God. You'll see that? And the king commanded, and they brought those men which had accused Daniel, and they cast them into the den of lions, them, their children, and their wives. And the lions had the mastery of them, and break all their bones in pieces, or ever they came at the bottom of the den. So once that came down, he said, yo, put all of them, take their families, all of them, put them in the, that's a lot of people he threw up in that damn lions den. And them lions went to work. It said all them bones was falling down to the bottom of the cage. Kids and everything. You can't, yo. Then King Darius wrote unto all people, nations, and languages that dwell in all the earth, peace be multiplied unto you. I make a decree that in every dominion of my kingdom, men tremble and fear before the God of Daniel, for he is the living God, and steadfast forever, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed, and his dominion shall be even unto the end. He delivereth and rescueth, and he worketh signs and wonders in heaven and in earth, who have delivered Daniel from the power of the lions. So this Daniel prospered in the reign of Darius and in the reign of Cyrus the Persian. All right. So Lord willing, y'all got something out of that. All right. Lord willing, when I see y'all next time, we're gonna go over Daniel chapter 7. Lord spare our lives. We can do that together. All right. So with that, I'll say shalom. Most High in Christ bless y'all. Get through this week safe. We got the the new moon memorial of blowing the trumpets on Friday. All right, that's going to lead us into the Sabbath. So, Lord's will, y'all have a great time. Let's enjoy. Let's worship the Lord in with much happiness. All right. With that, Most High Christ bless y'all. Shalom.